for 2025. We think this is an all new introduction to a really simple plan we have, and we think it's going to be a really busy summer for realtor engagement. We think that the mortgage bankers are getting back to realtor engagement, and we feel like we fit that like a glove. So because realtor purchase follows realtor engagement, and all of us have been a little bit spoiled by low interest rates for a number of years, that now that we've reached the new normal from an operating environment, having Worx Partnership professionally prepare and market your lunch and learns for you is just a whole nother level of industrializing your residential real estate referral partnership. So as we begin our conversation today, I want you to think about, how do you currently meet new realtors? And I'm not talking about your steady eddies. I'm not talking about your friends and family realtors that are feeding you 100% or as much of their business as they can. Those referral partners are your loyal constituency. But what we're talking about is, how do you meet new realtors that you don't already do business with? Do you host events, lunch and learns, workshops, seminars? Have you ever partnered with the local board of realty or another title company or a builder developer to go ahead and bring realtor attention to your brand? How are we going to bring realtor attention to you as an MLO? We've got to reach out with some attention grabbers. Then we've got to move them to some semblance of appreciation, have their head nod a little bit, their right eyebrow go up a little bit, and acknowledge the value that you, as a mortgage banker, have brought to them. And then we've got to teach you new and different ways to convert that attention and appreciation to loyalty, right? It's one thing to get the realtor's attention. It's a whole nother thing to get some appreciation from the real estate community. But how are you going to convert the attention and appreciation to a loyal mortgage referral partner? And what tools do you use for outreach? I mean, does your CRM work? Does all that mumbo jumbo that your social media department is sending out, does it really produce any business whatsoever? Or having a third-party endorsement like Worx Partner, or bringing a third-party email campaign in to keep you top of mind with our own social media and phone calls that's separate and apart from your marketing department work that may or may not be working for you to help produce business. So when you jump in a partnership with Worx, we can show you the success rate about realtor attention. We can then further show you the success rate with realtor appreciation, having them put it in writing, exactly what they appreciated from you and what you did for them that they felt obliged to thank you for. And then how do we measure your effectiveness in managing the loyalty of those realtor referral relationships? I think this is where the great opportunity exists for us as a company in 2025. When we're talking to a mortgage banker, we've got to separate into three silos the work that we do together, right? The first work that we do is promotional in nature and highly dependent on social media, and that is called get their attention, right? You got to have a silo that gets the attention of the realtor. Then you've got to have a silo that converts that attention to appreciation. Maybe have them fill out a form, take a certification, get to know you a little bit better, rub shoulders a little bit, maybe break bread at a Panera Bread, get together and have a lunch and learn. Whatever you've got to do to convert their attention to some level of appreciation and or mutual respect. That's your job as a mortgage banker. We can help you do that by bringing them to an event, to a live and online event, a certification for you, to bring them all the way up to and through a filled out form that says, yes, I want to do business with you as a mortgage banker. That's what the form says at the bottom. It says, hey, I want to do business with you as a mortgage banker because of what you did. You hosted that thing. I went to it. I liked it. Now I'd like to do more business with you as a mortgage banker. Now, that's called an at-bat. That means we've tossed you a low, slow pitch that says, hey, I went to that thing that you did, that lunch and learn that you had. I liked what I got there. I appreciated what I got there. And I feel the mutual respect from between your brand and mine. I feel a meeting of the minds culturally from a core ideology. I feel some common ground with you. And now I want to ask you, thank you very much for doing that. I'd like to do more business with you as a mortgage banker. Well, that's a realtor on a silver platter. And they're saying to you, thank you for having me at your lunch and learn. And how can I further my relationship with you? So we're going to measure attention. We can prove it. We're going to measure appreciation. We can prove it. And then we've got to start to measure your ability to convert attention and appreciation to loyalty through good mortgage service, competitive rates, and having virtually every product available in the mortgage industry. See, I've been a realtor since before you were alive. I started in the 80s selling real estate, and those are my first professional shots. There you go, Alex P. Keaton. If anybody knows that reference, you get $5. Harry and I went on to run the largest, most productively successful exit realty franchise in the country. And at the height of our organization, 350 real estate transactions a month, we were in the top 200, 250 real estate brokerages in the country. And we had, as many as 1,300 realtors that we had recruited to work for us at this company. But if you look down on those trophies, it's number one in gross closed, number one in listings taken, number one in sales volume, and number one in transaction sides closed. In other words, there was no measurable category that we weren't outperforming our second most productive contemporary by at least 300%. We had leaps and bounds over the second place person. And why I bring that up isn't out of ego. It's a sheer question. Could a real estate brokerage that sells 3,000 or 4,000 transactions a month, a year, could they be effective at teaching your local real estate broker in Hickory, North Carolina, how to be more effective? That's as simple as why we host our lunch and learns, right? We discovered through trial and error a direct mail piece that was later coined the miracle letter. And it was a direct mail piece that took our listing inventory from, say, 6 listings a month to 16 listings a month. Yes, in the 2002, 2003, 2004 calendar years, we were able to take as many as 10 and 15 listings a month using this particular letter. And what we've noticed in 2025, especially as we approach the summer of consumer confusion, we're seeing this miracle letter really light up the inbound seller inquiries. And again, so we got their attention. We got some level of appreciation from the seller. Now, how do we convert that attention and appreciation to a guy who picks up the phone and calls you and says, hey, I'm interested in talking to you about how much you could sell my house for? That's called an at-bat. If we can get your realtors at-bats, that realtor is going to appreciate you. Well, I can get them at-bats with sellers. The Worx Productivity Platform started with the miracle letter more than 20 years ago. But then we learned that just getting our realtor constituency at bats didn't help anything because they screwed them all up. So we had to teach them how to build a bulletproof listing appointment and how to do objection handling techniques. Have you ever heard that term in sales training, objection handling techniques? That's what you do when selling gets tough. You get down to the core of what has to happen to be a successful person in residential real estate or the mortgage business. And it's harder work than just taking orders at 3% interest, but it's necessary work. How to become an REO listing agent. We had to teach your realtors how to make the applications to the asset managers. So we give them, in your name, we give them a list of asset managers to apply to. We're able to teach, train, and coach them how to become real estate staging experts, the pet-friendly real estate agent. And together, we've recruited, trained, managed, and retained a mortgage sales force with 7 different mortgage banks that has funded over $26 billion in realtor referred purchase. And we take pennies at $125 an LO. $125 an LO for the LO to go out on a monthly basis with properly prepared attention and appreciation grabbers in the residential real estate business by leading with professionally prepared lunch and learns. That's what WorxPartner.com does, and my nonprofit HeroBenefitsNetwork.org pairs realtors with mortgage bankers in a Hero Benefits network. We're the only nonprofit, and we're the only one doing it with realtors for free. If they join Homes for Heroes, they've got to pay them thousands of dollars. But for us, they can come to work for us without any monthly fees. Now, if I had any advice for a mortgage banker in 2025, it would be to woo the listing agent. Because the gal with the gold makes the rules. In 2020, you could kiss a lot of buyer agent butt and probably bump into some blind squirrels finding some acorns. But with the new changes to the MLS, you've got to deal directly with the listing agents. I promise you, mark it down. Russ said the listing agents are going to become the prominent rule makers during 2025 and beyond. Unless the NAR settlement gets reversed, which I don't see happening, the MLS does not have to allocate buy-side commission any longer. If it doesn't have to allocate buy-side commission, those listing agents are not going to offer buy-side commission forever. They're going to learn, and they're going to quit doing it, and they're going to hold those listings tight. And those listings are going to become their lures that they cast for buyers. So kiss listing agent ass now. Buyers agents are not dead, but they're a dinosaur, and they're going to thin those herds. Those buyers agents are not going to be as productive as they were last year or the year before. You've got to work with the listing agents. So when you're identifying your realtors, ask them some questions to find out. Are they a person that they're the only one who knows they're in real estate? Does anybody believe that you're in real estate? Have you done any transactions? Hello, McFly. Is anybody home, McFly? Has your aunt or your cousin ever listed a home with you in your life? No one believes you're a realtor yet. That means you're a secret agent. Or maybe you're a wandering generality. Are you a realtor like this in the top, in the lower 35th percentile of realtors? They do look like blind squirrels. They are not skilled salespeople. They're wandering generalities. These realtors don't work any systems or sources of business consistently over time. If they see the word listing, they get scared. They don't know how to do it. They keep trying different things, different systems, buying things, but they really are terrible, terrible salespeople. And it doesn't matter what they try, they're not going to be good at it because they don't commit to anything, even hygiene, right? They're not prone to be the best looking part of the sales force, the secret agents and the wandering generalities. Now, I could take that word wandering and put the word complacent in because you do have some of these old farts in the residential real estate business, and you still have some of these people who say, hey, I only need to make 30 grand a year, and that's my little FU account. I don't need to deal with my husband on anything because I make my own 30 grand a year. Well, those realtors are complacent at $1 million a year in sales. Hey, if I pop it 2 deals a year, I'm happy. I got my money. I can do a little fund on the side. Good. That's a good agent, a complacent, wandering generality. Doesn't know how to write an addendum. Doesn't know how to close the loopholes in their statements. They don't know how to complete a sentence. They're not good at anything, but they bump into 2 or 3 deals a year if they're lucky. Those are wandering generalities. Then you've got these dependent realtors. We're already up into the top 75th percentile right now. We have not even crossed over into the top 25% of realtors yet. The secret agents make up about 20 or 25% of realtors. Wandering generalities, complacent realtors make up about another 20, 25%. So we're already in the top 75th percentile where you even get to any transaction volume. And I'm going to state that again because it's a nervous twitch of mine. 71% of realtors did not sell a house in the last 12 months. 71% of all realtors did not sell a house in the last 12 months. So if you're out there courting large volume realtors, you're barking up the wrong tree. You've got to woo the listing agents. Well, how are you going to do that? You feed the listing agents opportunities for their teamerage. They're running a small brokerage and they've got to do things that serve their team. So what we do is we match Worx Partner programs up to the team leader, and the team leader can feed their dependent realtors, all those dependent realtors that are underneath that team, they get the Worx platform because the teamerage partners up with us. So the dependent realtors, there's probably a good 25 or 30% of realtors in the country that qualify as dependent realtors because they either get their leads from Opt City, maybe they get it from Redfin, maybe they take it from Berkshire Hathaway's referral department with 35 and 40% referral fees. Maybe they go ahead and take something from their corporate referral department at their big Sotheby's, or most likely they're on a team. They're just sucking on the teat of a more established, more business savvy realtor. So they're basically like a remora attached to the shark. They're not a shark, but they're attached to a shark, right? So then you got a group of people that I admire tremendously, and this has been my favorite group to work with over the years. Agents that are between 6 and 16 transactions a year. They're not, some of them really aren't even doing one deal a month yet, but they're committed. And I'll tell you how easy they are to identify. Do you have any sources of business that you work that produce a consistent result? Yes. If they say yes to that question, they're likely an emerging agent. But if you asked a wandering generality, a complacent realtor, or a secret agent, if they had any sources of business that produce consistent results over time, do they have any systems that they're working that consistently reproduce business over time? Even if it's not a lot of business, one transaction a quarter, one transaction every 4 months, is that possible? Could you get a program together that consistently produces a source of business over and over and over? Then you're dealing with an emerging realtor, because they've realized that they're not in the customer service business, they're in the system service business. When an emerging realtor understands that they're in the system services business, they're basically establishing systems that produce predictable and reliable sources of business over and over and over again. That's how you know you're working with an emerging residential real estate professional, probably hovering between 6 and 16 deals a year. But if we cook on gas with these gang, they're talented enough, they're hungry enough, they're thirsty enough. Now, they are few and far between, okay? Emerging realtors make up about 11% of all the agents in the market. Very, very small, 1 out of 10 realtors maybe is qualified as an emerging realtor. But once we get them, we got a fat barb on the hook, and we keep them because they love Worx. They love systems. They want to grow their business through systems administration. They don't want to grow through being a cold call cowboy for the rest of their life. Cold calling could be one source of business, but it doesn't have to be their entire repertoire. So building 4 Worx burst sources of business into proactive time blocks and doing that 4 times a week, that's what a 4x4 realtor does. And that's how they get to 16 transactions a year or better quickly. And I'm going to say this for the snot noses online that just heard that and they go, "Oh, 16 transactions. I'm not even a top producer, man. I got this one lady, she does 60 transactions." Well, it's a hell of a lot easier to get somebody who already does 16 transactions to 60 than it is to get somebody from 0 to 16. Okay? Trust me when I tell you, the hardest group is the moving losers to winner position. That's the hardest one. It's the most difficult thing to do. So we don't bet on that. We try to find people that are already proven that they're an emerging sales talent and that they have multiple sources of business that they're working through proactive time blocks, and they identify themselves and they raise their hand. They say, "Yes, I am working systems towards growing my business." You know that's an emerging talent. Now, the next level of talent is called an established realtor, and they are the hardest ones to grow because there's only 4% of them. 11% established realtors, 11% emerging realtors. Almost 30% of all realtors are dependent realtors. Almost 30% of realtors are wandering generalities. About 25% are secret agents. Nobody even knows they're a realtor. But the established realtors are about the top 4%. Okay. And that means that they're doing about 80% of their businesses on the listing side, and that their past customers and their database trust them. So that's why they're an established residential real estate talent. But remember, that's 1 for every 20 realtors is an established realtor. About 4% of all realtors would be called an established realtor. So, and then you've got this new phenomenon on, showing Sunset Strip and all these real estate hotshots. You've got the silver spoon effect in, you do have an elite group, about 1% of realtors that qualify as silver spoon realtors. And they are people who have an affluent, socially, politically, and emotionally connected relationship. And I guess it's the whole Kardashians run into residential real estate. I don't know, but it's not my cup of tea. So I work primarily with emerging residential real estate professionals, about 11% of the total agent mix. And then I work a lot with established and dependent realtors. I don't mind the realtors that are dependent on leads or a team, but our perfect realtor is an emerging realtor. Those are the ones that identify with us at the greatest level. And then obviously an established realtor or team leader that has dependent realtors working for them. Those are perfect slice of pie for us. That's where we belong. We don't want to work with secret agents. We don't want to work with wandering generalities or complacent agents. They'll never get it. And we don't want to work with silver spoon agents. We don't even know how to do that side of the business, so we don't pretend to. We work in the dependent, emerging, and established sectors, and I'll bet you that makes up about 40% in total of the total agent mix right there. Dependent, emerging, and established realtors. Those are the realtors that we're targeting. Oh, there's the actual numbers right there. I was not sure that our statistical observations were going to come up for you, but yeah, you're seeing 22% is dependent, 11% is emerging, and 6% is established. That leaves us about 37% of the total agent mix is in our winner's circle. So when I meet these folks, I say, if I could help you take more listings, would you consider working more closely with Cross Country? If I could help you take more listings, would you be willing to work more closely with Annie Mac Home Mortgage? Hey, if I could help you take more listings, would you be willing to work more closely with Nexa, this mortgage brokers that I know? Yeah. Well, they would. And that's how Worx Partner was born. We professionally curate value so that you can start to break the ice with a listing agent. Open house flyers and property flyers. Oh yeah, everyone does that. Helping somebody establish themselves as a guru in video. How can they leverage the power of video? Maybe you just host a drone photography training class and you ask one of the local drone photographers. They'll come in and go over the basic rules of drone photography, and then he can hand out his drone photography services to all your realtors. It's a great way to bring realtors together to break the ice, especially with listing agents. Social media and geomapping ads, how to boost their listings to their farm areas so that their listings are showing up on all the neighbors' house. Every neighbor should be bombed with the new house that came on the market in that neighborhood, and that's called geomapping. But a lot of the listing agents don't know anything about social media geomapping, and they don't know how to geomap a sector to shine that listing in there. So think of it as like why we used to do postcards to tell the people that we just listed or just sold a house. Well, now you don't have to do that anymore. For almost freaking free, you can geomap. And it's almost free to target every single homeowner in that geomap. So it's very, very inexpensive. Some of us break the ice with QR codes. We like to put the lead generation and lead conversion banners on their listings, and show that they're real easy to get the information from. One of my mortgage banking partners used to provide ISA support to hire a kid to cold call your leads back. That's just called an inside sales associate. It's free. They don't have to be licensed, and they can dial, smile and dial. So maybe you guys collectively spend $50 a day to have 4 days a week of somebody smiling and dialing old leads. Anything you can do to help them streamline their business and do less work would break the ice with the average listing agent. So I'm going to show you some of our proven ones, and then we're going to wrap up. We come in and say, hey, how many of you took more than 10 listings last year? And you see no hands go up. If we could show you a way that you could take a listing a month, would you at least want to hear more about it? This is taught by listing agents across the country. It's called List to Last. And it's a specific class to show you how, through using the proper scripts, dialogue, and objection handling techniques, you can become a top listing agent. We're going to teach you how to use our Miracle Letter, one of the most effective direct mail campaigns in residential real estate of all time. It's worked in 4 decades and has a pronounced new success ratio here in the summer of 2025. I can promise you that this consumer confusion is a perfect operating environment for the Miracle Letter. The expired listing goldmine. If I can help you take a few listings every year through the expireds, would you at least consider working with me more closely as a mortgage banker? See, the instructor of this course took 3,400 listings in 24 years in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Lori Reeder uses a similar system. She took 8,700 listings in Plantation, Florida. Mark Spain uses a similar system. He's the #1 realtor in America, 600 to 800 homes per year. And Addie Adler's the original RE/MAX Hall of Famer that taught me this system. And she grossed over $7 million in real estate commissions, not in real estate sales, no sir, commissions, using the same expired listing goldmine that basically every top listing agent in America uses. Farming, geographic farming. You want to make a stir in a real estate office, ask them if they have a farm area. Do you have a geographic farm area of specialization? Just stop asking about mortgage rates. Stop asking about interest rates. Stop asking about products or services, or I'm going to return your phone call. Just simply ask them this: do you have a farm area? If I can help you establish a geographic subdivision farm area, would you at least consider working more closely with me here at Bank of America? I know they're out of retail. Don't worry about it. You get the idea. Farming Fridays is a turnkey partnership with your real estate agents in a format of a lunch and learn that happens 6 weeks in a row, 6 one-hour sessions, called Farming Fridays that you can do. In fact, one of my top mortgage bankers in the country, #2 in the country, doing a lunch and learn for us right now called Farming Fridays with his RE/MAX office that he partnered with. And the RE/MAX agents were the one that requested. Here's how it happened. He brought Introduction to Farming Fridays in. He said, you guys tell me what you think. They said, we want to do it every week. He said, okay, I'll be back next week. His words, not mine. Staging designation. Have you ever offered a staging certification or a staging service to get more listings? Are you currently certified, or do you hold any designation as a staging executive? Have you ever been trained how to stage residential real estate? Well, if you're a realtor and you can get the house in the MLS, you're a realtor. But if you're a realtor and you can get the house in the MLS and stage it, then you're in service to the seller and you're trying to enunciate the highest possible price, right? So helping sellers showcase their home effectively is one of the services that a top realtor provides, especially a top listing agent. So now you, as a mortgage banker, can host an event for all of your realtors called the Real Estate Staging Expert Designation. And it's a free certification for realtors that can then offer a $600 value real estate staging consultation that can increase the sale price of any home between 6 and 13%. So you're talking about an unstaged home versus a staged home. Staged homes sell between 6 to 13% higher prices than non-staged homes. And if you don't believe that, you're not a realtor. Because if you were a realtor, you would know the shitty looking house sells for less than the nice looking house. And that's been consistent in every market condition since the beginning of time. But the people who have shitty looking houses don't know that their houses are shitty looking. So the realtors have to teach them how to make their house better if they want to raise the price. And I did that in North Lauderdale, Margate, and Tamarack and Sunrise for 25 years. You teach people that a little bit of TLC would go a long way. Now, is this important above $1 million? Absolutely, because some of those people are slobs too. But the most important sector is in that $300,000 to $500,000 range, where you could really do a handful of things to really affect the value there. You really, really could. So we also offer a pet-friendly real estate agent course where we bring your realtors together with us at the Humane Society. We do a pet rescue, kind of an adoption evening where we teach the realtors the pet-friendly real estate agent philosophy and how emotional support animals have changed the landscape for pet restrictions in America. It's a whole new world, and many of your small town, especially your emerging and dependent realtors, don't take the time to understand the new pet laws and how they affect pet owners. So we can help you through that. Just a couple more I want to share with you. I know I'm probably going a little over on time. My enthusiasm is spilling over. We can provide a free list of asset managers that are accepting applications to any of your real estate referral partners. We do that in a lunch and learn environment called Real Estate REO Opportunities. And one of the hottest buttons for 2025, one of the absolute juggernauts of our enterprise in 2025, especially this coming summer, where everybody's going to be scrambling for every single listing they can get, is ask your broker owners if they would like to have an objection handling course. Just objection handling techniques on the listing side, like how much is your commission? Do you know that agents blow listing opportunities all the time because they have never been trained how to do the objection handling techniques that are obligatory questions that the seller must ask, but they don't even have a prepared response for the most obvious questions like, what is your commission? Or how does your commission work? They don't have an answer for, tell me a little bit about what happened with the NAR settlement and how that's going to affect our thing. They don't know how to answer that question. How is it going to affect this? How's it going to, what are you going to do about this? Are you going to put my house in the MLS? Is my house going to be on Zillow? Are you going to be offering buyer side commissions? Who's going to be paying those buyer side commissions? What about those questions that are going to come up from a savvy architect or educated seller that might do a little bit of reading? They're going to blow that realtor out of the water because they don't even know how to do basic objection handling techniques on the listing side. So you get to create a Worx portal and group your agents by their strengths and the strengths of their partnership. You might have one group of realtors in your portal that does 8 deals or less per year. And then you have another group in your portal that does between 8 and 80 deals per year. And those are your highly valued targeted audience. You may have to use our portal to separate out brokerages. Like, hey, I've got a relationship with this Remax office, but I also have a relationship with Century 21 office. I have a relationship with this Caldwell office. So you sector out your different offices inside of our portal, and then you have a basic communication strategy outside of your corporate CRM, outside of the bank's CRM, outside of your mortgage brokerage CRM, that touches and creates muscle memory and top of mind awareness, but also nurtures the relationship to keep you relevant in the hearts and minds of your realtors. That's coming through your Worx portal. But your other side is the generic, that corporate rah crap that your bank sends out, where it's like, hey, we do FHA down to 680, whatever it is. That's going to be stuff that the realtors see all the time too. But we want to hit them with stuff like, hey, have you ever thought of becoming a staging expert? Hey, you want to do that thing at the Humane Society with us next week? We want to do things that are timely, relevant, and interesting to the realtors that are part of your platform. So if you're not going to do it with us for $125 a month, I wish you luck. If you want to do it with us at the branch level, we'll sign up any 10 MLOs in the same branch for $500 a month. We've been doing this pricing for 14 years. Our pricing hasn't gone up. What's changed is the branch levels. We no longer tax a branch, $1,200 a month if they're all using it under the same portal. So branch managers really got the best squeeze for the buck. But $125 for the MLO gets the a free business development manager account. So you're able to put your BDM in there and you. So it's basically two accounts for the price of one, if you ask me. But in addition, we're going to help your realtors overcome challenges such as the listing acquisition and marketing. So if that price point sounds fair to you and you think that we can do some damage in your local real estate market from a standpoint of market share capture, go ahead and click that link on the far right hand side of your screen and we'll get to know each other better. Thank you very much. We always recommend that you do at least one lunch and learn a month, whether it's with us or with someone else. Thanks very much for being on.